I can't hear you. You're muted.
I got a couple interesting ones here. Let's jump with this, which just came out because today's Liberation Day, whatever that ended up meaning. But here it is in the Epoch Times. Canada avoids new Trump tariffs while border-related penalties remain in place. So U.S. President Donald Trump unveiled his long-promised plan seeking to rebalance global trade with reciprocal U.S. tariffs on April 2nd, but didn't impose new tariffs on Canada. Interesting. All right, let's just take a break from that one and jump over here.
President Trump has just announced a series of measures that are going to fundamentally change the international trading system. Now, in doing so, he has preserved a number of important elements of our relationship, the commercial relationship between Canada and the United States. But the fentanyl tariffs still remain in place, as do the tariff for steel and aluminum. As of this evening, the tariffs on automobiles will enter into force, and the U.S. has signaled.
So remember that's actually that there's a carve out, and it's only based on how many U.S. car parts in your thing. There's a giant carve out for Canada and all this stuff that he's not mentioned.
That there will be.
Wait. What are fentanyl tariffs? Like literally those ones that were initially
25%. Yeah.
Okay. And he's just calling them fentanyl tariffs.
Fent tariff.
Strategic sectors, pharmaceuticals, lumber, and semiconductors. So,
which we provide 0.8% of the U.S. Semiconductors.
Who's making all the noise in the
situation?
Hold on there.
Where there's going to be an impact on the U.S. economy, which will build with time. In our judgment, it will be negative on the U.S. economy. That will have an impact on us. But the series of measures will directly affect millions of Canadians. We're going to fight these tariffs with countermeasures. We are going to protect our workers, and we are going to build the strongest economy in the G7. In a crisis, it's important to come together, and it's essential to act with purpose and with force, and that's what we will do.
It was the best economy in the world last time he said it. Now it's like he's like, I better tone that down a bit. In the G7, oh come on, dude, we are so far behind. It's impossible. It's broken.
Good luck even getting that right. Okay, so let's switch back to this because we didn't get any new tariffs. Senior White House official said the initial broad 25% tariff placed on goods from Canada and Mexico in relation to illegal migration and fentanyl trafficking will remain in place. The current exemption for goods covered by the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, the USMCA free trade deal implemented on March 6, also remain in place. And we have a 10% tariff on our energy oil. At this time, Canada and Mexico, they continue to be the subject of national emergency related to fentanyl migration, and that tariff regime will persist while those conditions persist. So yeah.
So nothing about fixing those conditions, right? We're just gonna fight back with more tariffs, right? Nothing about actually fixing the problem. Like nobody's yet in that part of the government is addressed. I think Daniel Smith and Mo are the only ones that have addressed the problems in that one type of tariff there that he's talking about.
That's right. The reciprocal tariffs for other countries include 34% on China, 26% on India, 24% on Japan, 20% on the European Union, and 10% on the United Kingdom and Australia. During his speech at the White House on April 2nd, Trump said the tariffs would be the country's declaration of economic independence and will give the U.S. government trillions of dollars in tariff revenue while bringing jobs and factories roaring back to the country. The United States is seeking to address its trade deficit, which stood at just over $918 billion. Trump singled out Canada specifically for its supply management system, saying the country imposes tariffs as high as 300% for its dairy products. When you look at it a little bit, it's not a pretty picture and we don't like it. It's not fair to our farmers. It's not fair to our country. So let's just jump that over to this while everyone's freaking out about tariffs and finish out the tariff talk here. So here's some reciprocal tariff examples. What do you expect to find here? The U.S. just being a big bully?
Oh man, examples of what? From Canada to the U.S. or from?
No, this is just
Oh,
all
sorry.
around the world. So this,
All around. Oh, there's a ton of them are all around the world. It's unbelievable, actually. Like
well, let's go through a list of. So below is a sample of the tariffs imposed on dozens of countries, assessed by the United States as having higher trade barriers. So the first is going to be the country. The first slide is the country and the tariff they're currently charging to the U.S. And then the second will be the reciprocal tariff that the U.S. is now charging. So let's go down the list. We got Cambodia was charging a 97% tariff against the U.S. and now the U.S. is coming at 49. Vietnam was charging a 90% tariff, is charging a 90% tariff, so the U.S. is doing 46. Sri Lanka 88, so the U.S. does 44. It looks like they decided to go in at about half of what all the other countries are charging them. So it's not too much of a shock on their consumer. Bangladesh 74%, the U.S. is 34. The big one, China's charging 67% average tariff on U.S. imports. So U.S. is now doing a 34. Switzerland 61.31, Indonesia 64.32, Taiwan 64.32, South Africa 60.30, Pakistan 58.29. I mean, it's exactly half. So the U.S. is now charging half of the tariff that other countries are charging them. And people are freaking out. The European 39 to 20, Philippines 34.17, Israel 33.17, and Malaysia 47.24. Japan 46.24. So I just thought that was
well, and the main thing is, I think the main reason is because of the trade deficit, right? Because, and this is why I don't know if it's correct that he calls it like he's subsidizing us, but there's just hundreds of billions of dollars that like we're not allowed, like the U.S. can't sell to the world, but the U.S. is the biggest consumer and they're buying from all over. So everybody can go ahead and sell all their stuff to the U.S., but the U.S. can't sell back. And why can't people just talk about it like that? Why can't it just be, I don't know, it gets frustrating.